Hi guys, today we are going to look at the walking speeds of various animals based on their leg lengths. We want to look at how fast they can possibly walk, not running, okay? Running is not what we are doing today, just walking. And there's some information that I want to go over with you at the front end, so take some notes on this so that you have something to refer back to as you're doing the activity. The equation that you are going to see in this activity for Walkathon Championship is let me write here. Let's see. S equals the square root of G times L. Now, let me tell you what these things mean. S is going to stand for your maximum walking speed. So S is the maximum walking speed, not running, walking. So that's what S is. S for speed. Okay. The square root of G. So G is going to stand for the acceleration due to gravity is what it's called. I'm just going to put G for gravity to shorten it up a little bit. Now, this is not a variable. This is a constant. And it's going to depend if we are looking in metric measurements or in the English system. So I'm going to give you both of them. You'll need both of them for the activity. For the metric system, it is 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, that's second squared. It's not the 9.8 squared. You do not have to square the 9.8. Don't think that. Okay, it's just the label. And then in English system, that is 32 feet per second squared. Okay, so you'll fill in one of those two numbers for the G every time. You'll just decide which one based on whether your other numbers are in, meters, centimeters, things like that, or in feet, inches, things like that. Okay, so there's that. And then L stands for leg length. Leg length of these different animals that we're going to be talking about today. And this is going to be either in meters or in feet, okay? This will be in meters or feet. Now, that doesn't mean they might not give you a measurement in, say, centimeters or inches or something like that. It's just that you need to be aware that if they do that, you've got to change it either into meters or into feet. And then the other thing that it's going to be really helpful to know is we're going to have to do some conversions today from English to metric or metric to English or whatever. So it's helpful to know that 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. So if you have to convert, that's the conversion fact that we will be using, that 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. So let's get started on this. Let me go over to the activity that we have today. So this is on Next Lesson. You already have an account there, so you should be able to log on fine. This will be in your My Lessons. Unfortunately, this video doesn't play. It's very sad, because it would be fun, because it's funny watching people speed walking. So anyway, you can go Google that later on YouTube and amuse yourself that way. So anyway, we know that the cheetah is the fastest land animal on Earth, but what if it's not allowed to run? Biologists model maximum walking speed by the equation S equals the square root of GL. Okay, so if you look right here, that's where the equation came from that I gave you in your notes. The reason I wanted to give it to you separately is the square root sign looks weird, doesn't it? Math type is so weird on computers. So that's supposed to be the square root of GL. Okay, so the square root sign should go over the G and the L. There's the gravity speeds that I told you. L is leg length in metric or standard units. And so now we're going to answer some questions. And they give you the hint about the conversions. So let's look at number 1 together here. It says, find the maximum walking speed of a giraffe with legs 6.03 feet long. Okay, so find the maximum walking speed of a giraffe with legs 6.03 feet long. So if I'm looking at this, I want to find the giraffe's walking speed. So that means I'm trying to figure out S. That's what I'm searching for in this problem. That's my goal, is to figure out S. It gives me the giraffe's leg length. So where's that going to go? Leg length. Yeah, and for L. So the leg length was, oh no, I forget what it was, 6.03 feet. All right, so that means I'm going to put a 6.03 feet. Oh, caution, is that in feet or meters? Yes, okay, it's feet. Okay, we're good. Just check that, all right? So I'm going to erase the L and replace it with a, oops, let's have that be purple, 6.03. And then since that is in feet, which of the two gravity numbers do I want to choose? We want to choose the 32 because that says feet. So you want to stay within the same unit system. So I'm going to erase the G and replace that with the number 32. Okay, so this is what I need to calculate. So since the 32 times 6.03 is all together under the square root sign, it's kind of like there are understood parentheses that you have to do that first, and then you do the square rooting. So I'm going to calculate that real quick on my handy dandy calculator. So 32 times 6.03, I get 192.96. Okay, so S equals the square root of 192.96. So let me go ahead and square root that then. That is 13.89. Since they had 2 decimal places, I think I'll keep 2 decimal places. 13.89, that would be in feet per second, would be the label on that. So feet per second. That's how fast that giraffe can walk. Almost 14 feet per second. So I'd come back over here, and that's what I would enter here. 13.89. Put the label, feet per second, okay? On number 2, it says find the maximum walking speed of a coyote with legs 4.6 meters long. The M stands for meters. So to do that, you would go back to your original equation. Here, let me get a new slide here. So S equals the square root of G times L. So we'll use that equation again. We're trying to find the speed of this animal. Its leg length was 0.46 meters. Okay, so if that's in meters, I'm going to put the 0.46 right here in meters. And what that means for my G number is I want to use the 9.8 meters per second squared as my gravity, because I am in the metric system, so I need to stay in the metric system. So you just need the systems to match, okay? So I'll multiply those. Actually, I'll let you take it from there. You'll be fine with that. But I just wanted to point out that the G number depends on which system you're in, metric or standard. Okay, so watch that. Then, okay, there's another question at the end of number 2 here. It says, how much faster can a giraffe walk than a coyote? Well, you're going to have their speeds from 1 and 2, but the problem is one is in metrics and the other is in a standard measurement of feet per second, and our brains don't compare those things well when they're different. So you're going to have to take one of them and convert them to the other, and that's where that fact that 1 meter equals 3.28 feet is going to come in. So I would take the meters and change them into feet, because personally my mind does better with feet, because we live in America, we do feet. So that's what I would do. But if you wanted to change them always into metrics, that would be fine with me too. You just need them to be something that you can compare. So you need the same units on them to make that comparison for the second part of number 2. In number 3, it says if an elephant's leg is 68 inches long, what is its maximum walking speed? So its leg is 68 inches long. Okay, alert, we have a problem. So for leg length, I had said that it needed to be in either meters or feet. And this elephant's leg is 68 what? Inches. Okay, so that's bad, but it's not terrible because you can convert that. So how many inches are in a foot? Well, that would be 12, right? So what you're going to do is take your 68 inches and divide it by 12. So it's 5.6 repeating. Okay, so that's what you're going to use for his leg length in feet. Okay, so I would call it 5 2/3 is the fraction form of that. That's what will go in for your capital L for that elephant, because you want it to be either in feet or in meters. Okay, something like that is going to come up on number 4, because it says that this horse's leg is 98 what? 98 centimeters long. Okay, so that's a problem because it's not meters or feet. So how many centimeters are in a meter? Well, that would be 100. Okay, so you can move the decimal over 2 places and call that a 0.98 meters for the leg length, and then take it from there. Okay, so number 5, I want to talk about number 5 because it's going to be a slightly different question. It says, if the maximum walking speed of a red kangaroo is 4.31 meters per second, how long is its leg? Okay, so let me go over to this screen and write my equation again. S equals the square root of G times L. Now, in this problem, if you notice, it's giving me something different. So I'm looking at number 5. It says that the walking speed of this red kangaroo is 4.31 meters per second. That's its walking speed. Which letter on here, the S or the G or the L, had to do with walking speed? Speed? Yeah, that's the S. So that 4.31 goes over here. All right, it's a little different. And it wants to know what the leg length is. So we don't know the leg length. Now this 4.31 is in meters. So that's going to be my clue, meters per second. Which of my measurements for G am I going to use? The 9.8 meters or the 32 feet? Well, we're going to need the meters one. So we're going to put the 9.8 in for the G. We don't know the leg length. Okay, so now we have an equation to solve. So we need to reverse this process. So if I look at this, if I'm thinking about what has happened to this L is getting multiplied by a 9.8. Then after that, it's getting square rooted. So here we are at the end of the equation, and we want to reverse this. So how do you undo square rooting? What's the opposite of square rooting? Well, squaring. So we're going to square both sides of this. On the right side of my equation, the squaring and the square rooting are going to undo each other, so that's going to make a 9.8L. Let's see what I get when I square 4.31. 4.31 squared is 18.5761. 18.5761. Okay, so we took care of the square rooting. That's good. Now, how do you get rid of the multiplying by 9.8? Well, we'll have to divide by 9.8. So when I divide both sides by 9.8, of course I got to be fair on both sides. Those cancel, so L equals 1. That would round to a 1.90. So that would be how many meters long this leg is. I had to think about what unit we were in, but we were in metrics, so I know that that's meters for that leg length. So that's what would go here for number 5. Okay, so that's all of the first page. There's a really light blue arrow. It gets darker when you click on it over here. Do you see that? So click here to go to the next step. So on this page, you have some animal races that you're going to be comparing. So you want to calculate their walking speed. So we have the celebrity race of the tortoise and the hare. So they give you the leg lengths. One's in meters, one's in feet. So watch your units. And then in order to decide who wins, you're going to have to convert them so that they match. Okay, so change one of them so it matches the other units. Okay, so you'll do that just with a couple of different animal races here. I think there are 4 races, I guess. And that is all that we are doing. So I think I'm not going to have you do this last bit. It's where you put them in order from first to second to third place. If you know who wins, then that is enough for me. So in this activity, we are completing steps 1 and 2. Okay, and then you will turn it in. I was thinking that Kid View had, okay, so I guess it saves automatically. It says last saved a few seconds ago. I thought the Kid View had a turn in feature, but I'm in the teacher view of the student view, so it might be a little different. So, okay, well, I think that is everything I need to tell you. And then just so you have something to look forward to, tomorrow we are going to have a walkathon championship, and we are going to measure our leg lengths and see how fast we should be able to walk, and then actually walk and see how it goes. And I have certificates for the winners and everything. So it's going to be a good day. So remember that Jesus loves you, and so do I. So do your math.